Hi folks, how are you doing today? I know I tease Steve Smith. He always says, how are y'all doing today? It's like, well, you never wait for my answer. So I can't hear you, but I hope you're doing okay. I want to come on here and first I want to tell you, my plan was to make a quilt. Since I've gotten my book written and it's ready to release an ebook, and it's also close to being ready for print, and I was trying to get the ebook and the print book released closer together, and I don't know if I can do that because I don't know when they'll get me the author copy for my print book. It's more important for that thing to be right than for, you know, the ebook has got a little bit more leeway, a little less to worry about in the formatting of that. So I don't know, should I release the ebook now? Because I could do that. If you want me to, I may consider going ahead and doing the ebook, because I know some people don't intend to buy the print book. They don't intend to, but they would like to read the ebook maybe. And yeah, I know I was going to show you the cover and read the blurb to you. And as soon as I get the ebook released, or I'm about to push the button on that, I will do that. And then, as some people did, they waited to buy the print book, which I much appreciate. I just got my first royalty deposit, and it's kind of, well, most of the ones that were sold were ebooks, and those are very, very inexpensive and make pennies, you know. So I think my first check, it's not all they owe me, but it's all up to the cutoff where they could, you know, cut a, I say cut a check, but they just make a direct deposit. It's like $25 something. So hey, I'm rich. I am rich. But I wanted to do it anyway. So, you know, I'm no Stephen King. Actually, I don't want to be Stephen King. We don't like him, do we? His books maybe earlier, but I don't know. Anyhow, so I don't know. Would you like the ebook release first, or do you want to wait so you can make a choice between them? Just let me know what you think. And so I mean, I got the ebook basically ready to go. And so weigh in on that one. I have had an idea for another fiction novel. I was going to do a quilt, and as you know, sometimes you people who craft, as you know, sometimes when you put things away for a while, it's hard to get back into it. Even though you love doing it when you're in it, it's hard to get back into it. And I told my husband, I said, I just don't know. I said, I wanted to kind of cleanse my palette and do a quilt, but he said, and I just don't know. And I said, I kind of more want to write than I want to do that. He goes, well, do what you like. Do what you want to do. And I thought, well, I could. Am I ever going to get back to quilting, or am I just going to give up the hobby? Because this is becoming quite a hobby here. But I've got an idea for the second novel. And there's a theme to it. And it's part of the theme anyway. And I can tell you what that is. Have you ever watched America's Got Talent? Now, I don't watch that. I don't like singing competitions. I'm not a big music competition fan, okay? I don't follow that. I haven't watched American Idol since it got so, every choice was so politically correct, and it is like, okay, you know, this is just not a real, it's not a fair contest. It's just, you know, it's kind of, the decisions were kind of, are kind of geared toward what was happening in society at the moment. It's what I felt like to me. And so I used to watch that many years ago, and I quit. I haven't done it for years and years. I don't like singing competitions. But I came across a video, the thumbnail of a video from 3 years ago. And it was by now, if you've watched America's Got Talent, I just only recently discovered this person. She's not with us anymore. She died 3 years ago. And she sang on America's Got Talent. And her name is Jane, I think Marzuski, but she goes by Nightbird with an E on the end. That's what she did go by. And she was, I don't know why I stopped. Something about her compelled me to watch. And I did. And I thought, oh my gosh, she'd been battling cancer for years. She was only 30 years old when she auditioned at America's Got Talent. And I loved her voice. And she was beautiful. I mean, she was just a beautiful looking girl, but she was so thin, and her hair was very short because she'd been through cancer treatment, and she was growing it back out, I assume. But she still had cancer. It wasn't in remission. And she sang, and I was just so touched by that and her story. And in it, she said something. During the interview, they were talking to her, and she said something. And it resonated with me. I know it did with a lot of other people. And I thought, this is kind of like the theme I want for this book. And what she said was, you can't wait until life isn't hard before you decide to be happy. And I thought, coming from someone who'd been through the ringer like she has, it's amazing. And I thought it should become part of all of us, that statement. And that was her. So I thought, my character, I'm not going to have her have cancer. I'm not paralleling it after Jane's cancer tragedy, but it's a whole different thing. But that statement can apply to so many things. Now, I think I encourage you all to internalize that, because I think there can't be much better message than that in this world today, other than Jesus the Savior and Lord, and but other than that, the message is just so clear to me. And I realize that in certain parts of my life I've tried to do that. I didn't put a word to it, I didn't put a saying to it, but I've tried to do that. Enjoy the little things. This year, the little things were, my irises bloomed in September, and they bloomed all the way through October. I didn't even know I had any reblooming irises. The same irises have been on the ground for years and never rebloomed until this year. And that was just the biggest joy. And then, and the elephant ear bulb, elephant ear bulbs are like this big. They're huge. And I planted one over a dozen years ago. And in the little planting bed by the front steps. And it just never grew. I don't remember it ever coming out of the ground. Well, this year, I walked past it. I went, what is that leaf? What's growing there? My elephant ear came up. And it became rather tall. You'd think you've seen a picture of that on video. It got that tall this year. Now it's dying back because it's gotten below freezing at night. And there were two great joys of this year. Little bitty things, but it doesn't matter what else is going on. I had irises and an elephant ear, and I was happy about that. So I just thought that was worth sharing, and it's going to be part of the theme of this new book. And I'm getting it out. I'm doing something I didn't do with the first one. I'm actually outlining it, a casual outline, but I am writing down the concept and where I want the story to go, and who the characters are, and that kind of thing. So I hope you enjoy the one I've finished, because it will be up very soon. I made that video about EBT queens and all the ridiculous TikTok videos that I saw. And I saw a stupid one. And, and it's kind of like you just put a different person in the star of the next video, because it's the same crybaby stuff. Oh my God, they took away my benefits. I don't have any more benefits, and my children are starving. We haven't had anything to eat in 5 days. And this woman, she's at least 100 pounds overweight. Your children are starving because you didn't get off your ass and go do anything about it. And that don't mean steal from somebody else. I mean, you find a way to support your kids. You spawned them, you support them, right? Well, in contrast to that, I've already complained about that, but in contrast to that, there was another young mother. She looked like she was in her 20s. I don't think, she might have been 30, but she was very pretty, and she looked nice. She didn't look like she was overly dressed up or anything, but she looked nice, and she was a beautiful weight. She's a beautiful young woman. And she said, I am the mother of 3 young children, a single mother of 3 children. Boy, that's a plague. The single motherhood in this country, it's terrible. And a lot of it has to do with the men, not the women. But that's another subject. And she was saying, she goes, I work 3 jobs. I think she said 3 jobs. I can't remember exactly. She works her butt off to support her 3 children. And she said, I get SNAP benefits, and I get, she gets daycare assistance and things. And she says, it's nice to have, because I'm really working myself to death trying to take care of my children. These are my children. It's my job to take care of them. And she said, if I lost them, if these benefits disappeared, she said, do you know what I would do? I would find a way to take care of my children. She said, I'm getting tired of these people with their cars, their expensive iPhones, and their manicures. And she was saying the same thing I've said. And she said, you know, maybe don't have your manicure this time. Maybe buy some food for your kids for that $100. Maybe you should do that. And I agree. And I thought, you know, not everybody who has these benefits is a low-life scumbag user. They're not. However, it seems like people have decided that's their basic income that they're entitled to from the government. And this sense of entitlement, you know, you don't. It's like Rip Wheeler said, and to the kid that they were trying to help in Yellowstone. He said, "Don't think for 1 minute you deserve this," because he said, because you don't. And the kid says, "Do you deserve it?" He goes, "No, nobody does. You don't deserve to have a handout. You make your own way in this world." And I was very impressed by that young woman. I hope there are a lot more like her than like the other. I just have to say. So there's that. So just remember, you know, you can't wait until your life is not hard before you decide to be happy. Happiness is a choice. It's always a choice. The I can'ts, that's a choice. You've chosen to deny yourself the joy of making your own way in the world. And I think people should learn a lesson from that young lady and from Miss Jane Marzuski, Nightbird. And the thing is, I don't watch these, and I just today saw Nightbird, a tribute to Nightbird by this chorus from South Africa. And they were amazing. They took her song that she sang, and they did the most amazing job with it. So Jane is still alive. She made an impression on people. And, you know, I don't know if we can all hope to make such an impression. Why would we want to go through cancer to make an impression, obviously? But, you know, to have that attitude and things she was going through, and she did die. They at one time pronounced her cancer-free, and yet it came back. That's what I see most often. It's nobody's ever truly cancer-free. Not really. But anyway, if you haven't ever seen her, look up Nightbird's performance. In that competition, the America's Got Talent, she had to drop out. She got too sick, and she couldn't finish it. I think she could have won that. She could have won. But anyway, that's all. I'm not going to ramble anymore. It's kind of cool out here, but it's not bad. It's kind of like spring. And I got stuff to do, so I got to go. Have a great day, y'all. Bye.